All right, my friend. I'm gonna get a coffee. I'll be right back. All right, my friends. Let me close this door. Ah, my dear friends, it is early. It's very early, but I'm here. Do I want to be here? Part of me doesn't even want to be here. Part of me is like, what is this? What is this? But I'm here. And in my experience of these things, it's just a brief bit of drama, and then it's all over. So, let's see what happened here. This famous stuff. Back in the day, people played bishop e3. And I believe... Okay, interesting. He loves the two bishops. We've seen this already. Seems like White's well, he's better as long as that doesn't nail us. So this should be totally fine for black, of course. And maybe he's a little bit better. Oh, now maybe black's a little bit better. Huh. Maybe you want to go rook e1, bishop e5 to try to hold this thing easily. Oh yeah, my friends. Ezipenko is a little bit worse. I better move to Europe, Robin says. Well, maybe I need to move to Europe. I lived in Europe for a long time. It was a great time. I loved living in Europe. Okay, let's think about what's going on. White wants to do something like king a2 and b3 to get the puppies moving, and is saying that on e4 I can both play an eventual f3 or an eventual f3. Bishop d4, excuse me. So I'm sure black is better, but how much is a big question. Also, both sides will definitely make mistakes here. If you remember, Ezipenko is really the one who is like, I'm just gonna do 2 classical games, draw those games, and then I'm out of here. You know, I'm out of here. We'll try to beat you in the blitz, and that's how he's been doing it, dude. He's been doing it with the blitz. I really dislike it as a fan. It's one of the reasons I'm not totally pumped to get up early this morning. All right, there it is, e4. And he correctly plays king a2. Now, bishop d4 immediately would have been met by rook b4. Yeah, and then you're going to lose a pawn. But now, the thought is that we will probably be able to play bishop d4 next move. And the problem for black is like, well, how, if at all, could I even improve my position? It's hard to just make a draw, though. Okay, this move seems committing to bishop b6, bishop d8. Seems like what it commits to. The argument for black is that the white king is just out. White king is always out. If I was white here, I would play bishop. I'd be interested in bishop b6 anyway. And maybe I can't so easily take because I don't think rook a8 is going to kill me. It's just going to go back here. Good morning, tiebreak friends. I really dislike it as a strategy. talking in chat about this thing that Esipenko's done with not trying to win in the classical games. Very, all these games at the top level are going to be interesting anyway. And so, even though he was just playing to hold the positions, I'm still, I guess, thankful I watched the games for the chess itself. I don't know how thankful I am for the as a fan, you know. Okay, so this is also the kind of position I feel like back in the day. Oh, there goes f3. Bishop h4 immediately. So rook e3 would blunder to rook bishop f2, so this is forced. I don't know if bishop h4 changes anything. Now normally you'd say, well, I gotta take it. Here you don't necessarily have to take it, because the problem with the white position is the white king is so terrible that there's going to be no easy way to take the c4 pawn if we just recapture with either the pawn or the rook. Black's bigger problem is that the bishop at c5 is threatening some kind of bishop b6 someday. The problem for black too is he has to be a little careful, just because bishop b6 at some point could be really annoying. All right, so there it is, a very ambitious move. He's saying, look, if you take, I'm just going to recapture with the pawn, conceivably the rook, actually. Yeah, this is spicy. Now, the issue, this is really tense. White might just be lost after this, because you don't have to take, actually, you can play here. All right, I think, no, you do have to take, because pawn takes, rook d2, bishop e1, and then I'll move you off e2 and then play rook e2. Okay, so here we go. This is Esipenko's dream. And I think the intention, you have to get a little space for your king. And once this goes down, in addition to bishop b6, we might just play b4, king b3, and march our own coconuts. And long term, black has long-term, holy moly. Long-term, black has more problems than white, because white has the outside pass pawn. And so what I mean by that is white wants, just calculating a little bit here, if white can fix the king, then he's fine. Now this is a very spicy situazione, my friends. We got pawn takes, bishop c3, and if king b3, I guess we just play bishop f6. Okay, now, one thing is amazing here is if king b2, then we take, and then we've got a discovery. Ooh, hoo. Oh, bishop e5 at the very least is a bomb to deal with. All right, rook e3. Probably fine. Esipenko is very good at finding only moves. Bishop f4, rook e2. Problem with e3 is I don't know what the follow-up is to e3. Like, what would come next? don't know. Very hard. Yeah, you can't cross the king over or anything. How would you get at him? I think he should maybe take a draw here. He's gonna go down on time if he doesn't play bishop e5. Oh, wait. So the way he's approaching it, he's saying like, I got the draw in hand with bishop e5. I'm gonna look for something more. They got a vid feed of Wei Yi. Looks very composed. There it comes. It's rook e3 instantly. It looks like we might get a draw here. Nice, Rainbow Teddy. Get those points, bruv. Get those points. Get those points. Kostya said he might join me, and it's just not true, dude. That kid's a millennial. He's not going to do it. All right, so there it is. It looks like that's the sign of the threefold repetition. Now, I didn't set the other board up. I should have. And this. Oh, here we go. This is still going on. Whew. King G2. What? I see. So we got the beautiful. What do they call that? The diamond. So black also better in this one. Check to the miserable king, and now he's contemplating. Both are possible. I say D takes C4 is more natural. There it comes on the GM today. Norderbeck Jr. under some very good stress here. A4. Now notice, not really threatening anything with A4 yet. Question is really, how does black do anything? That's a simple and strong move. That might end your coconuts right there. That might end your coconuts. Check to the miserable king. He's got plenty of time here. This looks like it's just lost. That's what it looks like. Now, E4, okay. So rook D5 might be on the table. I'm going to go ahead and assume that rook FF2 is just winning. You can go take my pawn, but that should be the end of the ball game. It's easy to say, I guess you could say. You know. So he's going to calculate that for a second. King G4 is a blunder because of E5, but that is where our king wants to go. Is there some other way for us to get in? I like this move a lot because if you check, then my king gets to go where he wants to go. And if you don't check, what is it you want? What is it you want, buddy? Rook B2, well, simple and strong. I can't argue with that. That's why you're just a chump GM, buddy. This one is just like, he don't got nothing now. Now we go to where I've always dreamed about it. He goes G6. He was worried he saw some kind of ghost on King G4. Maybe it wasn't a ghost, but it was H3. And maybe that would have been the problem with your move too, Jesse. I don't think so. But okay. Now, rook C1, rook C6. The man is not interested in the mating net. He's interested in pushing dem pounds. Very simple and strong. E5. Okay, so king f5 looks controversial, so just play c3. Now, oh yeah, it's just completely hosed. Completely hosed. This could be the end of Nordbeck Jr. My take, by the way, is that, you know, it's disappointing. That move doesn't do anything, bruv. It's disappointing that we have so many players who might not belong in the world, in the candidates. But this dude Sindarov, I can imagine him being 2750 level by the time that this thing goes down. He's so young. By the way, it says these ratings that it's showing, it's just weird FIDE rapid ratings. It means absolutely nothing. This is just genius play, dude. Yeah, he resigns, bruv. Dang. Okay, so we got ourselves a result. I want to look at that past game. The Esipenko game briefly with the analysis. So wait, not this one. Not the one that's coming up, but the one, the black one. Oh, wait, shoot. Kraai, get it together. I want to look at this one with the analysis. Question was, what dirty trick will the computer find to keep black's advantage going? So, as predicted, it says white's a little worse. Maybe a5. The computer doesn't mind a5. All right, so point. Oh. Yeah. Just the way I have it set up, you can only see the eval bar. But as you can see, it's like 0.61 or something. 0.56 now. It did not want e5, it wants h5. Or bishop g5. Ooh, bishop g5 is a great move, dude, because you can't do king b1. Because of bishop d2. That's the little dirty tricks of the computer. Still e5. It's and now it's saying e2. It's saying bishop g3. The game is equal. And now it's just equal. Ooh, here, that was the same as a question mark because of bishop d6. Huh. Okay, I'm willing to believe that taking is an advantage for black. And if this happens, then dude coldly wants this move. Okay, wait, do I understand this? If I take, bishop f4, rook e2, ef3, rook e8, f2. Ooh, that was the main point. That we drove the bishop off this business and then got us to play ef3. Damn! Damn! That was the real sauce, bows. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so now Rachel created a stream for us that we're going to watch here. Now, first of all, I got to see it. I don't know if I need to crop this for you guys to see it. I think what we can do is we'll go full screen. I don't want that full screen. I want this one. I want window capture. All right, let's try it out. Let's see if this works. Oh, Mr. Pruess, we got a move no one predicted. I mean, no one. 16 minutes for this move. What is the thought? Rook C1. What are we doing? What do you mean, Rook C1?
Do you think that could be the computer's top move, Rook C1? There it is! Rook C1, top engine move.
What? Rook C1, top engine move. How in your human thought process did you come up with Rook C1?
Yeah, I mean, somebody's got to ask him, like, what is Rook C1?
All right, that's pretty fun. That's fun. Rook C1. Okay, so we go back to Goa. Ba-bam. I hope you enjoyed that. So we're gonna go back and turn this engine stuff off. We're gonna go back, and the basic predictions are that Sindarov is going to advance now because he's going to knock out Nordebek Jr. Who knows what's going to happen with Esipenko? Who knows? Floormat, yeah. All right, so I'm going to write Rachel. I'm going to get a little something else to drink, and then we're going to launch into this next one. In fact, if I want to get both of them going at the same time. So let's say I go here, and I'll grab it, and then we'll go. I'll grab it. Good. So we got this business going, and then it's going to start in 2.5 minutes, my friends. 2.5 minutes. That gives me exact amount enough time to get something to drink, and then we'll be. All right, my friends. Well, let me lodge the complaint. The reason the dojo isn't pumped up with this whole thing is we're going to see, like, this is going to decide who gets in by some blitz games. Dojo don't like it. Dojo don't like it. Today we know the first two candidates from the WC, Exactamundo. And then, for the final round, those two players will play each other, but they're basically just playing for a little extra cash. Whereas third place, that's the real prize. Yeah. At the moment, if I would guess, it's going to be Nordebek Jr. versus Esipenko. That's my guess. But this thing, who knows? Who knows how this thing is going to go? And honestly, Sindarov could lose. We've seen weirder things. Sam won on command against Esipenko in one of their games. He had lost as white and then won as black. It was amazing. Not just cash, but eternal glory. I think if you make it into a candidates tournament, there's might be eternal glory right there. That's a bigger deal to me than winning some random cup thing, Like if you think about a Bossov, you don't remember him. You don't even remember how he qualified. You're just like, oh yeah, that guy once played. Maybe he shouldn't have played. Maybe he should have declined the invitation. But he got in, buddy. He got in. Yeah, Skevix, that's true, man. And I think too, as a fan, it was a double-sided coin, dude. Because as a fan of the World Championship, I want to see the top players in. But then, as a fan of particular players, like Sam or Yospem or so many other people, I was like, oh my God, this chump who I know, and have played against, trained with, blah, blah, blah. This chump could make it to the big dance, dude. Well, Radjabov used to be a real player, dude. Rajabov was one's top 5. All right, they are getting ready. I'm gonna have both games open, but we'll just kind of focus on this one, as it seems like this one has more at stake. But I'll probably bounce a little bit between the two. Oh, and I want to tell Rachel that her vid is amazing, and all things social media. It's early. I'm ghosting my stream by writing her here. Okay, beautiful. They are getting ready to play the big countdown for final. That's not. I was about to say the final tiebreak game. It might be the final tiebreak game. Yeah, as you saw, way you could have ended it with some computer-like play. Computer just roasts you, dude. Again, let me just say, these guys, look, it seems like they're playing correct moves all the time. But the amazing thing is, I think what the analysis has shown is that with a computer like the current Stockfish, they would lose a classical game even if they were like started up 2 pawns. Right? Amazing. All right, here we go. Wei Yi doing his thing. Esipenko, I think he's okay. So tame. Wei Yi goes for tame. There we go. Okay. If Wei Yi has a weakness, it's that he moves too slow. Yeah, maybe that's why Esipenko's like, yeah, I got a better chance than a rapid, bud. Let's just end it there. All right, mini moves here. Chump GM would probably play knight d2 castles. Yeah. Okay. So this space grab is something that computers often like to do. It was done even before computers, but it's not clear what you're actually going to do over there on the queen side. So I would say knight d2 is the default chump GM move. Take a quick peek over here at this other one. Oh, that's going to get spicy. That is going to get super spicy. All right. So this move on h3, e6, g4. Holy moly. It's going to get lit over here. All right. So I'll keep an eye on both. I don't want to bounce too much between. Here we go. Too long, Wei Yi. Too long. I guess this is, yeah. Dude, this is the more consequential game. It is not a surprise if Nordebek goes down. It would be if of the 4 players, Wei Yi gets knocked out, dude. Not good for the candidates tournament. And you could say, well, he deserved to lose. No, this is just a random blitz game going on here. Knight d2. I told you to move faster, buddy. What are you doing? Arguably, this is easier for black to play, at least the first couple moves. He should be, you know. Rook E1 would be El Defaulto. Bishop B3 is fine. I like Bishop B3. So the problem in all these openings, you need to fix the knight, and this gives us this option, which is nice. Black can do a gazillion different plans here. I never know exactly what to do. I think Bishop G4 is technically not great. I would probably play this thing, Bishop E6. Sometimes they also play like knight E7 to G6. That's also a plan. Just because the knight on C6 is not great. Okay, rook E8. Oh, it can't be bad to play rook E8. I'm not sure exactly what it does. Well, Robin, I don't think it is the same strength. Robin's saying in the chat that 2650, 2750 is the same strength. It's just that in a two-game match, the most likely result is 1 out of 2, and then you head to a blitz tiebreak, and then anything can happen. And then anything can happen. Again, these ratings that it's showing, those are rapid ratings, not real ratings. And Wei Yi's rapid rating is, you know, about as high as his classical, and Esipenko's isn't. But the rapid ratings, they're not reliable because people don't play that many rapid events. I don't think I have a rapid rating from 1990 something, you know. All right, Bishop E3. I like what Wei Yi's doing. We're getting rid of that pesky bishop. And it's also a little bit, no one knows what rook E8's about. Rook E8 might be to play D5. So that might be a question. Could black play D5 right now? Bishop E6, okay. I'll call that a solid move. So when we take on A7, black will be owing us a tempo. Whether he takes the rook or the knight, he's going to have to come back. So the chump way to play this position would be bishop A7. Some piece takes back, and then knight E3. It's a spicy baby. Yeah, okay. Wei Yi, buddy. You can't be taking this long, bro. Robin's floating a theory that because the 2700s got knocked out, you can make a claim that they aren't as strong as we thought they were. I disagree. I disagree with that, but I understand where that's coming from. All right, bishop A7. In some ways, it might not matter. I mean, rook takes is more natural, I guess. But in both cases, you're going to owe white a move to come back. Okay. So, yeah, rook takes, you could say I'm willing to, if I need to, I'm willing to leave that there longer than I am willing to leave the knight on A7. All right, rook E1. So he is preventing D5. Rook A8 would be black's defaulto move. 3 minutes is a big deal. There are definitely some 2650s that are underrated. Esipenko, I think, is an example of somebody who might be underrated because he didn't really get the chances to play properly due to the Ukrainian war. And before that, due to COVID. And Wei Yi hasn't played that much either. So, yeah, I think that's, if I was going to make an argument for some kids being underrated, that would be more where I'm coming from. All right, Rook A8, I'm a GM today. White needs a plan. Now, I'd be interested in B5, but just knight E7. You could take 2 and then knight E7, knight G6, no problemo. Knight E3, good move. Now, the question here would be, is D5 possible? Is B5 or D5 possible? And I Freudian slipped B5 because my question on D5 would be B5. Yeah. So, maybe Wei Yi's got a small advantage, but in general, you got to believe more in those 3 minutes than you do in any minuscule white advantage. If I was black, I'd be interested in this very basic knight e7. Park this knight over here. You can play c6 if you need to. If white goes d4, well, he probably can't because of e4. But even if he does, you always have knight g6 in reserve. Okay, I might do a take back on knight e7. On knight e7, he could take on e6 and play queen b3 and say he's got a little something, something, and that might be true. The rook doesn't, I guess the rook wants to recapture if you're going to be on the e file. I didn't like rook e8 that much. I'm sure it's fine. I didn't like it that much. All right, queen d7. Simple and strong. Now, default moves for white could be h3, knight d5. I don't like knight h4 because just g6, and g6 in general might be a move that black does anyway. I could also just ask him a question, just take him and ask him a question. I think though, well, black's intention here is he's just going to recapture, and any kind of knight f5 I can deal with king h7, g6 stuff. I think the frisky one is knight d5. And then if bishop takes, pawn takes, I claim I got something. Might not be true, but that would be the claim. Because we'd get that light square bishop. Oh, he's tanking. He's tanking. He's tanking. If we imagine it this way, honestly, we gotta play c4, knight g6. Black is totally fine. Totally fine. All right, what did he do? a5. All right, so typical space grabbing stuff. And what's cool about it is we might play bishop a4 someday. Oh, that's a nice move, dude. So that did not cross my radar. I want to admit it. And that's just a nice positional move. However, the main reason it wouldn't cross my radar is I'd be a little concerned about d5. Esipenko says I'm not doing no d5, but I'm going to take away bishop a4. Play it for him. Queen b3, knight e7. Esipenko's a machine, dude. Esipenko is a machine. The man, oh man, works it, works it, works it. Very difficult to prove anything here for white. he's a super solid player, man. Super solid. And actually, this 3 minutes he's got on white is a real hassle in the castle. Yeah, this would be the end of Wei Yi, dude. This would be the end of Wei Yi. All right, I'm gonna refresh this thing. And as predicted, knight g6, all those moves easy for black to play. d4 still not playable. Now, knight f5 is the frisky move. But here black has two moves, d5 and knight e7. You don't have to do it, and white's not threatening anything either. But d5 and knight e7 are the first things that come to mind. We might be able to get away with knight f4. King h7 might also be a simple prospect, so that if d4, we have knight e4. All right. So, Penko's trying to get the lay of the land here. We're going to do a quick look at the other game. Madness, as predicted. Madness. Sindevar's got less time. So who knows? Who knows? d5 played. Frisky. Penko has waited several classical games to play an aggressive move. And here he goes. So the black's claim is that the knight on f5 is actually kind of a chump. c4, I don't like it. I don't like it. This gives black the option both of de4 and queen e6 and the very simplistic d4. Even c6 is probably playable, honestly. So c4, that don't look like it. Wei Yi might be going down, my friends. He's down 3 minutes. All right, it's down 3 minutes, buddy. c4. Big positional choice. c6, de, d4. These are our options. He goes de. We're participating queen e6. Oh, queen c6. Probably a good move. Wasn't on my radar. All right, Wei Yi. I don't know if knight e4 is a threat. I don't know. Queen c2. Okay, he says it is. White isn't moving now, really. White isn't moving. Like, there's no grand plan for white anymore. But don't play rook a8. I'm not sure the problem with queen c6 is, like, you got to watch out for that business. Actually, he could even do rook a8. What am I saying? This knight's here. There might be some weird... Actually, rook a8, rook takes, knight takes e5. That could be unpleasant for a peasant. So... it does put black in a little spot with this. I didn't like this queen c6 move. I didn't see it as a candidate, but I didn't like it. I thought queen e6 looked more natural. Then I could play rook a d8 and stuff next. Maybe it's also with the intuition that it just has more scope. All right, I'll show you the dirty trick. Here, 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 and then here's our problem. That's our dirty trick problem. And, all right, Esipenko is spending a real chunk of change on this move. White isn't really threatening anything. Now, in general, a thing to say is that black is better because of the better pawn structure. This square is the only square white has, where we have this one for real. But it's very difficult to post any knight there or rook. I'm liking king h7. This has the virtue of getting out of knight e7 stuff, and then later I want to pop the knight and not have that fall. One plan that white could have is to play knight e3 to d5, but of course he can't do knight e3 until e4 is taken care of. I'm going to allow this comment. I don't know why I didn't allow it. People in the Twitch chat fighting about the ELO system. They're fighting about it. King f8, okay. So, same virtues as, well, similar virtues to king h7. This one claims that we're not going to get whacked by our king being exposed there, and that later I might want my king to be closer to the center. Now, if Wei Yi could somehow organize that, that would be a cool thing. Question: could he do it immediately? I guess not, because I'll take here. And then on here, I'm just going back. Okay. So king f8. Mr. White, how, if at all, can you mess with me? Now, a building move here would be like g3 or h3. g3 is real simple, just to keep the knight out of f4. But it's also, in a rapid game, is the kind of move you want to play instantly. The problem, I think, what White's saying is black is about to play rook ad8, and if I don't get something, then I really won't get something. I really don't have nothing. But I don't know if you got nothing, buddy. You don't maybe have nothing. Esipenko can really find only moves. G3, I'm a GM today, but he is not a GM because 2 minutes, that's too long. So he had caught up to Esipenko in time, and now he spent 2 minutes on this move that I saw in the first second. All right, please don't attack each other in the chat. Please don't attack. I want to stress the rating stuff is very complicated. All right, rook d3 is his thought. He is saying knight e4 is not possible. I'm going to believe him. But we're not, I don't think we're necessarily threatening anything here from white. I don't think rook d3 threatens anything. It is true, though, that black also has some difficulty making a move. Oh my god, let's see what's going on in the other game real quick. Pure madness. Holy catoles. White is down a piece. And he might just be flat up winning. No, he's not down a piece. He took a rook. Oh, white's winning this bad boy, dude. To me, this looks like just simply winning. This rook is an amazing rook. This bishop is developed where it stands. This bishop's a god. Look at that diagonal. I think Nordebek Jr. is done. All right, we're going to go back. All right. So here we go. Rook d7. Simple moves. And nice moves, dude. Asipenko plays nice moves. So here we're just saying, hey, you are not going to be able to move the other rook over. Okay, that was kind of frisky to take on d3, because he could have also just played rook, king g8. What? Sometimes Asipenko freaks me out, dude. Where are you going back, bro? Where are you going? Where are you going, dog? I guess he's going to give him the old sit claim. That's a weird move to do. Now, one thing that Wei Yi is not able to do is just to make a basic move. You know, he's not able to do it. Asipenko can just move. He don't care. He'll play moves like rook c1 and say, like, what? What do you want? Bad game. I've never heard BG in chat, but that is kind of hilarious. Knight d2. In general, strong players aren't into the GG thing. You know, it's just, it feels a little dumb saying GG. All right, so what are we thinking here? We think it's still fundamentally fine. Knight e7 is a basic move. King h7 is a basic move. We got only 30 seconds. 30 seconds to move here. Oh yeah, okay, so Wei is catching up on time. I'm going to look at the other game. So to my mind, this is just completely over. Completely over, because this rook is a beast. Yeah, buddy. Queen d4. You're going to have to trade the queens, bud. And you got a pawn for your exchange, but my rooks are amazing, and very soon I'm going to do this move. I'm assuming the white king hasn't moved. I'm assuming that. Even if it had, though, I could still just play rook d1. Now, if black had a dream, I guess the dream would be someday I'm going to play f4 and do things to you. No, maybe, okay. So maybe snip, snap, and then either castles long or immediately I do things to you. Okay. White is, of course, grand, but at least Nordebek Jr. could make a fight out of it. The reason I wasn't into f4 now is takes on c5, bishop takes, rook c3, and now when I defend the coconut, I get whacked with a rook d1. But it's probably also playable. Yeah. Oh, and I like driving the bishop off of f6. I don't want that bishop on f6. You know, that's a strong bishop. I mean, one of the reasons it is say it's completely lost is I can always put my bishop back to f6. Have they banned me from playing people on stream? You used to do that and it was great, but now analysis kind of commentary kind of flaccid. Dang, bruv. Dang. Kind of flaccid. What, man? It's cold, dude. All right, we got knight d2, queen d7. Esipenko is just a master of holding the position. And I think it's fair to say that black is the one who, if anybody's got juice, it's going to be black, because black can play knight f8 to e6 at some point, and I will be the one who can at least think about playing knight d4. Depending on what black does, we could also play knight b8 to c6 or knight f8 to e6. Now, maybe I'm full of it, though, because the knight's about to come to c5. Okay, good, simple move. We do have counterplay. If the pawn weren't on a5, then this wouldn't be possible, because we could just block it all up with b6. So the pawn on a5 is doing its virtue signaling. Virtue signaling. Maybe pawn c5 now could be a really... Well, no. Pawn c5 allows like a knight d6. So this position might be a little hectic for Esipenko. And for the first time, Esipenko is down in time. Okay, rook d1, very good. And king h7 might be the default, just to push the knight away. So the question is, does white have anything? Does white have anything? He definitely needs a move. Let's say king h7, for example. What is our intention? Also, even without king h7, he plays f6. What is our intention here? f6, another very simple and strong move. So he's saying you have one invasion square on c5. I'm going to stop that. I'm going to fix my king, and I'm going to say what? Black could also play h5 so that he could play g6 at some point as well. So yeah, one of these, like a lot of King's Indian positions look like this. Hard to know what to do for white. Looks pleasant for white. We got a minute on the clock. I don't know why I care so much, but I think it'd be kind of cool if Wei Yi knocked this dude out. I don't like the strategy of drawing all your games, buddy. No, I don't like it. Arguably, if anybody who got here kind of did that strategy, it kind of seemed. All right. Skevik says, you always yell at us for not using our time. Yesterday I played an OTB classical. In the final position I had 2 rooks and 2 pawns for the queens. He had 3 pawns and I had 5 opposite color bishops. I had 7 minutes and he had an hour and 4. I think I was winning, but I couldn't pull the trigger. Offer to draw. Yeah, that has nothing to do with time. Okay? You needed to have a growth mindset and fight through that. There are, in terms of imbalanced positions, it's mostly analyzing your games. Also, if you go over, like, watch a stream like this, we're going to get some imbalances. B5. Pretty violent move. It's not clear it's threatening anything. Esipenko says, no, you're not threatening anything. King f7. Now, does Wei Yi have an idea here? Knight e3. Okay. So, the issue is it's not clear that the knight on d5 will be any better than the knight on f5 was. Once the knight, like, imagine king e6, knight d5, rook c8, seems fine for black. Rook c8 immediately. Black has a very solid defensive structure here. And it's the kind of thing that the mill could go bad for white, for sure. Because there's so many different ways of just, like, Whereas for black, how does the milk actually go bad? You know? So I'm assuming if on the knight d5s of the world, we'll organize c6. And we're not in any rush to play it either. Yakubo Arvo is saying that Yakube, if he likes his chances. Oh, I don't like his chances. It's interesting, though. So I think the intention could be if bishop f6, you just keep going. You keep going. Okay, where I do like his chances is with the clock. I like his clock chances a lot. What about bishop b6, though? Doesn't that end the game? Bishop b6 looks brutal. Dude is thinking about it. I guess the intention for black, though, is bishop b6, bishop g2. Ooh. Well, Average Joe. Took me a second to realize that was your name, Average Joe. That looks pretty, that looks kind of compelling. I'm not going to lie. Sindarov might have blown it. He was definitely winning before. And now, oh, dude, he could go down. Now, again, if he loses, then I'll just go to a tiebreak. Bishop e5. Now, this is a little confusing because both bishop g2 and f3. Bishop g2 is the one that scares me most. So, does white have an idea on bishop g2? Is there some dirty trick on bishop g2? Because bishop g2 looks like just good and simple chess. Huh. Maybe he wants to play bishop f4 and all these moves. I don't know, dude. No, he's got bishop c5 then and stuff. Bro, what are you doing? What are you doing on bishop g2? That looks horrendous, buddy. Okay, so he's contemplating what the trick is on bishop g2. I don't see it. I don't see it, buddy. I don't see the trick on bishop g2. There is a trick, and I don't see it. There's got to be, because otherwise bishop e5 doesn't make any sense. Bishop g2. There it comes, rook h2. Rook takes. Okay, there was no trick. The answer is there wasn't no trick. Now, is there something wrong with bishop c5? I don't see it. Maybe white just wants to go zip and zap. He could also take on a3. All right, quick look at the other game. Robin Esperosa is a GF today. Okay, we get this tense situazione. Knight e6. All right, it's getting officially spicy. More great defensive plays. So if pawn takes, knight takes, rook a8, knight b4, knight c5 is essentially a fork because we are going to take away the defender of a5 and talk to the e4 pawn. So very nice play from it. Ezzy Pengo's a defensive machine. All right, bishop d4. All right, so the milk went bad for white. Not clear what the hell's going on here. You would think that if anybody's got chances, it's black with the pawn. But his problem is he needs to be clever because this pawn's going to go, and then the claim is that that pawn is going to go. Oh, it's hard to know exactly what to do here. Maybe king b7, bishop e3, rook c8, or something weird like that. Maybe just a5, a4. Welcome to the dojo. I called king b7. Thank you very much. Now, I was thinking rook c8. I don't know. I don't know, though, because I'll just play king d3. I can always support any pin situation with c3. So amazingly, black could still lose this game. Oh my God, what a total mess. Norderbeck Jr. really dancing down on the clock. King c6. So that implies he wants to play bishop c5. One thing that's nice, though, for white is I can play c3 when you play c5. And I don't see how the black king is going to help this pawn advance. This pawn is a great pawn, but it needs the king's help. So rook g2. On bishop c5, I think c3 is a nice move. So what's happening here? We're going to be up. Oh, he's saying I'm going to talk to you, buddy. Okay. Now, how about king d3? h5. What? Okay, maybe h5. That seems pretty frisky to me. I thought king d3 looked simple. Rook e6. You could still play king d3. Rook g4. This is a little bit... Okay, so he wants rook f4. One of the cool things you can do in positions like this is be like, I'm not a chump jam. I don't need to take that pawn. All right, so he's looking for the rook f1 move. Arguably, the rook wants to belong on f1 anyway. White has better center control and claims that the pawn on e3 is actually dead. Black says, you got problems too, son. If he takes on g5, the pawn on e3 is more alive than it used to be. All right, Sindarov, buddy. Have you blown it? I don't know, that h5 move, I didn't understand it. I guess he was trying to get out of rook e4 or something. He was gambling. He gambled. Dude, you needed a draw in this game. What do you do? What do you do gambling with h5? Why couldn't you just take the pawn? Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Oh, he's losing his mind. He's starting to freak out. He's bugging it out. Uh-oh. Maybe just rook g3. Rook g3. The problem is, like, if you take on e3, then dude will run his pawn down your face. Your face. Maybe rook a1 is the simple way to try to get a draw out of this position. Come on, buddy. Yeah, you don't need to win this thing. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need it. All right, so there it happened. Rook f1, rook f7, rook e4. Good move. I'm anticipating c3 maybe. Rook h4. It's hot. Somebody made it hot. Ooh, buddy. What are we doing? Now, he could try to bail with bishop e3. Rook e4, rook h7. Rook e3 don't look pleasant for a peasant. Ooh. Rook h2 is a hell of a drug. That ain't no lie. Oh, man, Sindarov. What have you done, buddy? You lost that position? That one, bud, where you were crushing? Rook h7, check. He wants to do something really fancy on e2, and I believe it's bishop f2. All right, very fancy. e2, bishop f2. If rook f2, he's saying, I got it covered. All right, Maybe the man found something amazing. E2, bishop f2. Wow. All right. Technically, white's up a pawn. All right, we're anticipating king g3 here. I don't see king g4, okay. I don't see the win for black. This was very well held by Mr. Sindarov. I think king g4 already. We're forcing rook g2. And then king f3. And then what do you got? Uh-oh, this could be Nordbeck Jr.'s end. Dang. e2, bishop f2. I don't know what we want after that. And now it's even worse because our rook on g2 is hanging. Yeah, that's pretty much time for the Vig resigns, buddy. Because a draw is the same as a loss. Man, oh man. All right. Wait, what's happening over here? Holy catoles, why did I leave this game? When will I be playing people like in the good old days? I don't know. I don't know. This is a mess. Look at Esipenko, dude. The man is nails. They call him nails. Way you could go down, dude. Way you could be going down right here. I mean, we got to say black is definitely better now, right? He's got the time advantage. He can default to rook a2 and takes on h2. The pawn on c6 is also hanging. Now, if I was white, I would want to play rook h8. That would be my hope. That was why I thought rook a2 was maybe better. But rook h8, maybe I just play knight d4, king b2. As long as white, if I get the pawn on h6, I feel reasonable. Okay, so king c2. King c6. King c2, I don't know, buddy. Oh, I understand. There's just basic problems. There's basic problems here, my friend. What am I saying? Rook h8. Now he's got rook a2, rook h2. Goodbye. They had a transmission error. That's what happened there. King d3, and now he snipped the coconut. Goodbye. Now when he snips, maybe he's hoping on knight g4. No, that's not going to help, buddy. He's just got rook h3 there. Maybe it's still kind of complicated with knight g4. Knight g4, and then white could think about king e3. Touching le coconut. Rook h3. King e3. Rook g3. King f2. What are you saying, king f2, buddy? Then rook e4. All right, so Nordbeck Jr. lost. Sindarov is going to the final. Sindarov qualifies. Now, rook g2. It's a little weird because you're allowing rook h6, but there's a good argument to be made that the main feature, the main compensation I get with rook h6 is I get my king up to a nice spot like king b5. I'm ready to push things like c5 and c4. Now maybe rook, no, I was thinking rook f8, rook g3, rook f3 with a dirty trick. However, rook takes f3 is a check to the miserable king. Wei Yi's going down, dude. That's it. Wei Yi's going to lose to Esipenko, so it's going to be Esipenko and Sindarov qualifying for sure, and then Wei Yi playing Nordbeck Jr. for the real match tomorrow. That's what it looks like right now, my friends. Dude, Esipenko, you can't. One of the terrible reasons why we don't like the blitz in the dojo is his style of qualifying here just doesn't apply to the World Championship. It doesn't matter about how good a rapid player you are, how good you can hold the position. No, buddy. You got to beat people. You got to beat people, bruv. All right, Wei Yi hasn't resigned yet. Rook h7, trying to prevent the king from moving. I don't know if that really does much. G4 could be... G4, maybe he wants knight e3 or something. King b6, maybe he wants like a knight e7. Knight e3. Uh-oh. Did Esipenko miss? Knight e3, there's rook d2. Still, rook d2. King c3. Rook f7 is going to be a threat, so I'm not sure we saved our soul here. c6. Wow, dude. Wow. Oh, buddy. Oh, man. Yeah, this is not how a world championship candidate spot should be decided, my friends. This ain't it. This is just miserable nonsense. What are you doing? What are you doing? This makes no sense. Ah, bro. Yeah. Well, my day is coming to a close then, my friends. That is it. That's not the way knight takes g2. It's not the way it's done. Let's just go over here. 93. He's so tired and knocked out, bro. He plays c6. Ah. Man. So the qualification to this world championship through this World Cup is totally random. Totally random. Dojo is opposed. All right, I'll leave it there. I'm going to raid somebody. Yeah. Pruess will definitely be back tomorrow. And I would love to raid Weissel series, but he's got so many Y's in his name. I can never count it out. I think it's 3 or 4 Y's. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, serious. All right, we're going to raid this dude. Oh, man. I wasn't a GM today. All right. So,